everyone. I'm getting ready to start another 12 by 12 layout using that sketch. And I'm going to start by inking the edges of my paper. And I'm using Broken China Distress ink to ink this Fancy Pants Summer Soiree paper. And I printed my journaling directly onto the pattern paper as you see here. I just cut this pattern paper down to 8.5 by 11 and ran it through my laser printer. And then I inked the edges in Broken China Distress ink as well. Here's another piece of pattern paper, and we inked the edges with the same Broken China. And now my papers for my background are completely inked up and are ready to get put down on the page. So I'm going to start laying everything out. And again, the journaling's already done. That was very easy to do in Microsoft Word. That's all I used for it. You could also use Photoshop if you're more comfortable with Photoshop. Now I'm laying down my photos. And I'm just getting them positioned. Positioning was a little tricky on this layout because of the vertical stripes in that striped paper, and then also the harlequins formed both vertical and horizontal stripes in the blue paper. So when I was laying down the photos, I wanted to make sure that they looked square with both the harlequins and the stripes. And now I'm adding my last photo, which is my smallest photo, with some foam tape, just to give it a little added dimension. It's not very thick foam tape, so it's not going to give it a ton of height, but it is going to add some visual interest that way and some extra texture and dimension. And because I still have those nails from the 80s party on, I needed to use my craft knife to help me peel off the paper on the back of the photo. And once again, I'm making sure everything's lined up correctly. And now I'm going to cut some pieces of white cardstock with my Nestability Labels 1 dies, and I'm going to cut them in my Big Shot. That's what I use for all my dies. And I'm going to run the same piece of cardstock through twice with 2 different size dies to get these 2 white pieces. I'm going to do some extra stamping on these 2 white pieces. First, what I'm doing is I'm taking a black gel pen and I'm drawing faux stitching lines all the way around the edges of both of the white shapes, and then I'm gluing them down. And like I said, I did that with both of them, so here I am doing the stitching on the second one, and then I'll be gluing it down on the page. And once it's glued down, I'm going to get some letters ready to do some stamping, and I'm going to stamp in the Broken China Distress ink. And I'm just stamping Jekyll and Hyde using a small alphabet set made by Hero Arts exclusively for Joann's, and it's pretty darn old. So I don't know if you would be able to find it, but it's very good for cards and small stamping. You can see here I'm just laying out my letters on my mat. I just want to make sure they're straight, and that's why I laid them on the mat first, and now I'm picking them up with my block. And then I'm inking them up and stamping with them. And I used the Broken China Distress ink just because it was out on my desk, but the Distress ink, the look of the Distress ink, I kind of wish I had used fluid chalking to give me a cleaner look. Now I'm taking these American Crafts thickers. These are the Tinsel font, which is a foiled font, and the color is red. I just like the font and the color, and it had all the letters I needed. That's pretty much why I chose them. even though it's a Christmas font, technically. So now I'm just arranging the letters, getting them exactly where I want them. And the title is Liz and Ted, and it's about... well, here I'm going to take this 4 and I'm going to turn it into a T, because I did not have a T. But I was able to look at the 4 and see how I could turn it into a T. And I'm sorry, I'm cutting it off camera. But there you can see how I cut away the angled part of it that creates the 4 and then turned it upside down. So, it's about my sister and my teddy bear, and she has this sort of split personality in regards to him. Sometimes she'll be nice to it, and sometimes she'll act completely insane, and she can swing on a moment's notice, which is why it's called Liz and Ted, Jekyll and Hyde. And there's on the bottom photo, you see how it has a ribbon tied around it. I'm actually going to do a string of bling, and I'm using these gemstones from Hero Arts. And I'm using this clear design ruler from Tim Holtz to line the bling up exactly on the bottom of the page. And it's also helping me keep the line of bling pretty straight. And what ends up happening is it's 1 square of bling short of being the perfect size. So I am going to have to adjust that when I'm done finally getting it down on the page. But in the original sketch, this was supposed to be a line of ribbon and then holding a tag. I thought I would do bling instead. So there you see on the end, it's kind of missing a square. I'm actually going to take a clear square, and I'm going to put a clear square on the end there. And I thought about trying to adjust the color of it with alcohol ink. Probably Stream would have worked just fine. But I thought if it looked slightly different, it would be stranger looking than if it looked totally different. So what I actually am going to end up doing is I'm going to remove a piece of the blue bling from the other side and put a white one there as well, so that there'll be a clear one on either end, and that will help it to look intentional and balanced. So I'm just laying that bling down here. And now I'm going to show you the layout. It's complete. Liz and Ted, Jekyll and Hyde has my journaling, my title. It's got some layers of pattern paper. There's where I did the stamping, the stickers, the journaling printed right on the paper, the bling. There's the original sketch, so you can kind of see how they look together. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.